Hey boys and girls, it's been a little bit, so we're going to get into this video and tell you what's been happening. Well, it has been a little bit, and I apologize. Life's been crazy, right? It is hot. That's the first thing. I'm sweating like crazy out here in the garage. It is summer in Florida. If anybody's been in Florida in the summer, you understand. All right. So, last time I drove the buggy, I had to use the side windows, and they were coming apart. So we bought more material. I was going to build them with the door frame again, but I decided halfway through it I didn't want to deal with getting around it. The sewing machine I have doesn't have a very deep throat to be able to do that very well. It kind of did it, but not very well. So that leaves the question, do I really need the door frame? I was thinking the door frame would cut down the wind noise of like the drum sound, when you're going down the road. And in my case, it really didn't, because the way I wrapped material around the frame, and then I sewed that shut, and then I sewed that to the door. All right, kind of like this. You can see here's material sewn to the actual skin of the door, and then it's wrapped around the metal frame here. Okay, like in pockets. Well, that leaves a lot of flop, and so I still got the big drum sound. So then I decided, it's got snaps almost 3/4 of the way around it. Why not just put snaps on the bottom? So that's what I did. I got 4-ish up here, kind of, and I got 3 going down. I just moved these from the outside to the inside, and then I just put 3 more snaps along the bottom. And it kind of shortened up my little overlap of a flap there, but, because the metal frame actually would stick out farther here. It would stick more in line with the roof out here. So it kind of pulled everything in, making my little flap not as long as it was. That's probably the biggest downfall. Will it be gushing rain in? No. It should do an okay job. I'm still expecting this to not seal up like a modern car. It's to keep the majority of the rain off me. So will it do that? Yes. So I got this one done. I made the window zipper go all the way around this time. In doing so, I've made this window inadvertently bigger, I think, and my zipper's a little farther up towards the windshield frame, so that kind of makes it a little harder to deal with. Although you're not unzipping the windows to drive these things around with the window down, it's there to get in and out reality. All right. So that's what we've been doing on the buggy. It's got the roof racks. I think I showed you guys that on it still. We will probably do something different there. That was just to be able to go camping at the racetrack. The motor at this current point is still the same as it was. It's got the dual Webers on it. I do have a little weird thing where the Webers have a very rich spot right in the transition in the mains. You knock the mains down, it gets a little leaner, but then it makes the top end really lean. And I've been playing with the jets. And we have jets, lots and lots of jets, and I can tune it out. It's going to require playing with emulsion tubes, and that gets all expensive and tiring after a while. So, a friend of mine offered me something that he offered before, and I told him no. I'm going to play with the carburetors. And so I finally wised up, and we're just going to go boost it. Now, of course, I got to fabricate an intake and exhaust for this. But this is T3 turbo with a 40 side draft on there. Kind of standard plain Jane stuff. I don't know who originally made this. It had a header and everything, which will not work for my application. It was made to go in a bug. Something says it might have been a Ron Loomis at one point. I'm not sure. The exhaust on the header and stuff were really well. The exhaust on the manifold, not as great. It's kind of weird. But we'll have to rebuild the carburetor, of course, and we'll have to modify our header that we already have to make it work, and we're going to have to make a T-section. But I got the manifold end castings over there. It matched are match ported to my heads already. We have a T to start with, but I'll just build my own. Is this going to be perfect? No, I heard side drafts kind of have some funkiness to it and stuff like that. But it should not be anywhere near the problem that I'm having with the Webers right now. And I thought about blowing through the Webers again, because I still have the jets for that, and I have the boost reference regulator for that. And then I was like, the reason I got rid of the twin turbo stuff is because the carb hats on here made it such a difficult thing to deal with. You couldn't get in to change the jets, couldn't get in to change the starter, couldn't get into the back of the engine, do anything. And I was like, why do I want to put piping on top of the motor and make it all difficult again? Why not just single carburetor? So that's the way we're going to go. We're going to put the side draft set up on here. T3 turbo setup. Yes, a T4 would be better for the size motor it is, but in all reality, 200 horsepower in this little thing is beyond plenty power. So, we just want to make turbo noises and have some passing power. We will supply the manifold with oil so it's heated, so that should help with carb icing. We do have a wastegate for a little Chinese one. We're only going to run low boost on this, and the reason being is the engine already has a high compression. That is for another project there. Anyways, so we can't go crazy on this. All right, we're not chasing horsepower per se. I mean, yes, it's going to be more powerful turbo than it would be carbureted, but we have limiting factors. The 9.5 to 1 compression is the major one. We can't go and be stupid and run 15 pounds of boost on that without supplementing fuel and stuff. So we're looking like at an 8-pound motor, maybe a little less, maybe 5, maybe 8, but we're going to shoot for 8 pounds for right now. That should be a pretty good kick in the butt for it. It doesn't really need it power wise. We might take it as it sits to the track at some point before we tear the carburetors off and see what it will run, or maybe we'll make a Mexico run with the Draggy to see what type of ET it runs right now. We're not switching over to the drag radials. It would be with the street tires on it. I'm not switching back tires and stuff like that. As far as tires go, we took the rims and took them to a friend of mine's shop. He broke the beads. We found tire slime. I forgot I had tire slime on one of these tires in the front, and we put the wheel beads in, and guess what? They stick together and they cause it to be more unbalanced. So every now and again it would be fine, then it would get a shake, and then it would stop, and then it would shake again. And well, it was all the tire beads would we'd hit a bump and get jarred loose, and they'd be sticking together because of the tire slime. And so we took all the beads out. He balanced the wheels in the front, and they're doing great. I might have him balance the wheels in the rear. Another problem we found was the front wheels. They seated perfectly fine on the back side, but on the front side, they kind of went on crooked. And you could see it where there's a ridge here of the tire. Right there. You hear this line? One side was like, that ridge was underneath the lip, and the other side was just like this. So we're thinking that might have been another issue too that I was having. So, like I say, he remounted the tires for me, which is awesome. And now the thing drives a lot better. I might have him do the rear. The rears, they could not, the regular tire shop could not figure out how to balance them because it wanted the weight in the lip. That's where it said the weight needed to go. So, that's that. So we got tires balanced, so we might go to the drag strip. Eventually, later on, this is going to go on here. Now, one thing we did do was we registered for sick week. So we are in. So that's going to take time, effort, and money to get going. So I cleaned out the garage a little bit here. I got a little cubby hole. I still got all that to go through. So in the last videos, I'm sure you've seen there's garbage everywhere. It's still a mess, don't get me wrong, but at least it is where I can get in here and do stuff and make intake manifolds and stuff like that. So we're moving along. We have to take it to the track, see what it will do just the way it is. I got to finish the window for the other side. It's almost done. I have to make the slot for the aluminum in the front. And then when that's done, we get the fun part of making the back window. Hopefully I can do a better job on the back window this time, because the last one, it wasn't that great. I want to tell you right now, it wasn't that great. But it was a learning experience. Hopefully I can make this look a little more professional and last a little longer. Those lasted about a year, and they just finally did. The thing I found that most ridiculous on this, two things. Number one, all the rust mark is because I put them out on my driveway one morning, and there was metal out there from grinding. And it's amazing how much water your dry driveway retains. I flipped them over, and if you guys ever done a water test, see if you're, when you want to paint something that's concrete and see if it's got any moisture in it, you tape a piece of plastic over it, and it's supposed to get humid in that spot and show water. Well, that's exactly what happened here. The little pieces of metal instantly rusted. All right, so lesson learned. Next thing is this material. It doesn't take the contact adhesive very well. All right, see this? I can just pull this apart. This is a year-old contact adhesive, and I follow the directions. All right, you know, it will stick together like that, but you can just pull it right back apart with your fingers, which is kind of mind-boggling. Of course, two-handed, not one-handed. But I mean, it's still sticky. It's still tacky, but it does not stick to the other part. On the back side, it sticks a little better here on the cloth side. But as you guys know, usually spray adhesive, when you hit that 15-minute mark, you stick it together, and it's together forever, you know. This, pull it right back apart 2 weeks later. So that was one of the problems. Like I say, I was trying to use that. The material did not go through the machine very well, because it has got a very plasticky exterior to it, and it would slip in the machine. So you get places like this where it just didn't sew right. So that was very aggravating with the old ones here. You know, it all worked. I learned some. Like I say, the curve, I did much better, I think, on these than I did these. Basically, these come up into the curve, and the zipper just turns and goes flat like a suitcase. You know, I don't really care. I was going to make the windows non-functional, but then I realized you can't put the window in when you go to leave the vehicle, and it might rain. You can't put the window in unless you slide through the back window here to get to the snap pops down there, and that's not happening. I'm getting old and fat. So anyways, boys and girls, that's pretty much what it is here. Videos will be coming out. We were probably going to build a trailer hitch, because we are probably going to take a trailer. My wife is going to come with me, and the roof rack, although it will carry the topper, probably won't carry the tires, because 6 week requires you to have drag radials, and not spending $1,000 on a set of tires and rims to drive around for a week on this. You know, even if I buy just tires, it's $600 for just tires to drive around. So we're probably not doing that. Would make it simpler. So if I did do that, then I could do the roof rack. I wouldn't have to buy a trailer. Wouldn't have to make a trailer hitch. We're going to see what it all comes down to. Anyways, Chuck Fryer, a whole bunch of other guys. Gentleman up north is going to come. He's got t-shirts for sale. You could probably look him up on Facebook. Fryer Racing, Chuck Fryer. I'll try and figure out a link. But it's a pretty expensive ordeal for him to come, because he's so far away. So maybe you guys can help support his little racing habit here. He's going to come to Florida, and he's going to need hotel rooms and all that. He is currently, I believe, the fastest naturally aspirated Volkswagen guy to compete in a drag and drive. His car runs well into the 11s, in the mid 11 range. So definitely, let's see if we can get him to come here and put some really massive wheelies on during Sick Week of next year, and you know, maybe he can tickle a 10. That would be pretty awesome. Anyways, we're going to play around, get this thing going, and try and make it drivable. It's drivable now, but we need to make it into mostly a drivable car. We did get the seat covers in there. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys that. I need to adjust the shifter. I did get the rear view camera mounted right there. I got the monitor up there. I just need to do the wiring better. It's all kind of hanging down, looking janky. So we need to fix that. Anyways, boys and girls, I'm getting on to a Rambletron. Get out there, get your projects done, and I'll see you guys later.